Are you silver rich? How much silver puts you at the very top? Now today we're going to be settling a grand old debate. Silver and gold, how much should I have? Oh my god, it's so confusing. What should I have in my investment portfolio? Well, in today's video, I'm going to be telling you exactly what the top 1%, 5% and top 20% of silver stackers hold. Okay, so let's get straight into the video. Now, the top 1% of silver stackers have an amazing 500 ounces of silver in their portfolio. That's over £12,300 in silver bullion. If we were to move it down a notch to the next 5% of the top percentage, you would have 150 ounces of silver. Now that equates to £3,691, a lot more manageable in my opinion. Moving on to a slightly lower bracket, we've got the top 20%, still a great goal to have. You would only have to own 50 ounces of silver bullion, equating to a portfolio value of silver at around £1,230. Now there is of course some big differences there between 500 ounces of silver and 50 ounces of silver, but I think either way, if you're in the top 1%, 5% or even the top 20%, I think that's a very, very good portion to have in your investment portfolio. Now, while the recommended amount considered by the average holdings is around 5 to 10% of silver in your portfolio, I still think that, it's better to have a little bit more if you can. Why not? Of course, if you can afford to increase the size of your investment portfolio, then why wouldn't you do that? In the times ahead and current situations, I think that commodities such as precious metals, be it gold and silver bullion, are always proving once over and again and again and again why they're such a valuable investment to have in your portfolio. Yes, there's some fantastic gains to be made, but we all know why we really invest in these commodities, and that's to hedge against inflation and preserve our wealth. In case all else fails, silver and gold is the backbone and survivor in your investment portfolio. That's why we invest in it. So you don't need to invest in silver to get rich, but its upside chances could be greater than gold. Now, I know that's quite a bold statement, isn't it? Gold is this historic investment asset worth so much more value. So how can I say that silver potentially has just as much upside potential to be greater than gold? Well, right now, it is, in my opinion, currently undervalued. It's not traditionally factually actually an industrial metal, but it's widely respected as an industrial metal in the global market. Silver is used in medicine, healthcare, and it's used in the motor sector as well. We use it in car batteries and we use it in electric vehicles. Now there's an estimated market cap on silver which is $1.674 trillion. Now, geologists believe that silver is 19 times more abundant than gold in the Earth's crust. Silver mines' output is 8 times greater than gold. So, yes, okay, silver, its upside potentials are there. There's no denying it. The use is massive. The usage is very, very high. But going by the geologists' reviews and factual data based on how abundant it is, it's not going to run out anytime soon. Now, how will that affect the price, of course? Well, we know that prices go up when demand outreaches supply, and we know that prices go down when there's a great amount of supply but not much demand. Nonetheless, I do think that silver is undervalued despite those facts, and I think it's a great investment asset to hold. Yes, if you're looking to store an astronomical amount of wealth, be it, £1,000 and up or dollars, it's not going to protect your wealth like gold will. I think gold's the better hedge against inflation. In the United Kingdom, we've got 20% VAT on gold and the premiums are rather high. But nonetheless, I still think it's a great asset to have in preserving wealth and hedging against inflation. I just don't think it's really in the same bracket as gold. Nonetheless, I think there is great upside potential in the next 10 to 20 years. I really think we could see a potential price hike in gold. Now, having said that, Everyone's investment goals are different and individual. That's a given, of course, but this is just my opinion. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just someone who creates videos weekly regarding financial topics, and I'm very much into finance and investing myself. So if we go back a step and we take a look at silver as its price point and how it's increased and decreased over the years, we can see that silver has increased in 20 years from 2000 to 2020 by 651.06%. That's an increase per ounce from £3.26 to £29.26 per ounce. Now, I mean, looking at this as a stale investment, gold and silver traditionally is quite boring. It sits there, it doesn't really do much, it doesn't pay you any interest. But when you look at it as a wealth preservation and a hedge against inflation, those figures of 651% increase are nothing to be sniffed at. For me, that's exactly what I want from my investment in commodities. I want them to sit there quietly in the background, protecting my wealth, but also in the meantime, if they're increasing in value at the same time, I'm not going to grumble with that. I'm very, very pleased with the way gold and silver is increasing while hedging against inflation. Now, don't let these figures change your opinion on silver. Maybe it is extremely abundant, but nonetheless, I still think silver is a valued resource. It's used in jewelry, as we know. It's very, very, very popular, and it's still a fantastic investment, hedging against inflation and preserving your wealth. And there's a lot of money to be made in graded and premium edition collector's silver. A lot of people like getting those series pieces, and there's some great money to be made there. And even if you're not looking to make money, it's a great thing to own. Silver in itself just looks absolutely fabulous. The shine on it, it really is such an appealing commodity. Now, my prediction for silver's future, it's got a promising future. There's no denying that. I think it's much more promising than anything else. I don't think it's going to have a negative effect going throughout the next few decades. I do also believe there's going to be a price increase, especially in the next 20 years. And I think we could see demand catching up with the source of silver over the next 20 years. So in conclusion, we know that silver is a great asset. It makes a good part of our diversified investment portfolio. Like we always say, diversification is key. And I always think it's better to have some than none. So whether we're talking in the top 1%, 5%, 20%, or even if you're at the latter end in the top, 80, 90% of holders and you own just 1 ounce of silver, I think that you're doing very well by investing in it in the first place. But most importantly, we know, and I always say it here on the channel, health is wealth, and everything else after that is a bonus. I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. It's been a video on are you silver rich and how much puts you at the very top. Thanks for watching. I look forward to seeing you all in the very next episode. Bye-bye.